Wow, hey, well, that is my key. And my name is Darryl R. Banks, two-star executive director and founding member with MWR Financial, and your host of this weekly Thursday night Financial Edge University live webinar. But hey, this is not about me. Let me go ahead on and get to the gentleman at hand. The gentleman I'm about to bring on, his success is well documented in the industry. He has built teams of tens of thousands of people across this country. The gentleman, he knows how to build big, and I mean big. His knowledge in the industry and experience has helped propel MWR at home to become the #1 ranked ultimate financial services company in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the call the president of MWR Financial, Mr. Andamo Tolson. Mr. Tolson, are you there?
Yes, I am, Darryl. Do you hear me well?
Man, I can hear you loud and clear. You can see your screen. The webinar is yours.
Well, thank you, Darryl, for always being here without fail, doing such a great job getting everybody prepared and ready for this. Our webinars that we do, our Financial Edge University is very important so everyone starts to understand and learn how to become more and more financially literate, know what to look for, what to look out for, and all of this is done in a way where normally our experts are speaking with you. Tonight I am. Going forward, and we get into February, the experts are going to be the ones speaking with you pretty much 100% of the time, and that's going to be exciting with all the new services that we're bringing to the platform. It'll be amazing. But Darryl, you did, by the way, you and Gerald did a phenomenal job last week, and I appreciate that big time. And I will tell you, going forward, especially when in February, where you're going to be able to hear all replays of the MWR Financial Edge University webinar, we're going to have that sent out to you in email form the day after. So the Friday is, because we always do this on Thursday, so the Friday right after, you will get the link for that previous night's webinar. So you will be able to hear these, because this information as we go forward, you don't want to miss. You certainly don't even want to miss tonight. I'm giving you a chance to do what Darryl told you to do, which is get all those people on there and get everybody that you can in your organization to listen to what's going on tonight, because we're going to expose some things. We're going to expose the money game. For some of you that didn't even realize there's a money game going on, we're going to tell you what is going on, when it started. You're going to understand how it started and know exactly how to take advantage of the game to win. So, Darryl, again, thank you so much for all that you do. We appreciate you big time.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, and I'm not going to speak with you for a long time, I want to just kind of get right to it so you understand what the money game is. Let's talk about that to begin with. The money game was created by the wealthy, because the wealthy in this country knew that there was going to be a need to have taxes generated, so that way certain things could be taken care of in terms of the needy, the sick, the people who just were not able to get certain things done. They were going to need to be taken care of. Some of the things within our government that we were going to have certain kinds of funding. So they knew that. They understood that. But in a money game, like anything else, when you know the rules to the game, and they obviously wrote the rules to the game, there are ways to win the money game, to play it to win. And the wealthy absolutely did that. Now, what they partly did to ensure that they would always win in the money game, they're wise enough to understand that things can change. Laws can change, rules can change because of things that they weren't even aware of yet, like technology moving as rapidly as it does now. They knew things like that would change, so they were going to have to put new laws, new things that would change some of the rules to the game. And they were running the businesses they were running, so they weren't in business just to run the money game. Some of them were in the money business, others were in the textile business, in the rail business, in the steel business, in the farming business. So you had these wealthy titans of the industry that got together. A few of these families got together and created the money game. Many people know the story about Jekyll Island, and that kind of tells you how some things got taken care of and put together. Even got a president involved in and doing some things to help the money perpetuate the money game. But here's what the money game is. It is a game. And like any game, if you understand the rules to the game, you can actually play the game to win. What the wealthy do is they have a team of experts. So they have their attorneys, their CPAs, their personal advisors, legal advisors, financial advisors. They have all this team that they surround themselves with. So when they make a decision based on input from all the experts. And then because then they know what their exposure is, what their taxable income would be, how that would impact whatever they're efforting to do. They do all of those things and put those things in place. But what I want you to understand is most working class and middle class Americans, which we are largely a part of, they do not. Partly, it's not because some people just don't want to, but we've been conditioned to do everything ourselves. If it's to be, it's up to me. And that conditioning of always trying to make things happen on your own has been a condition that not youth had in mind, but it's been transferred from your parents to your grandparents, your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents. They've all been taught and conditioned to do it for yourself. And so with that, when you then look at today's times, and then this has happened throughout time, when 78% of people live paycheck to paycheck, and to have those experts, they cost money, and so people can't afford the experts, even if they think maybe it's good to have them. They can't afford them. Thus, the do-it-yourself mentality perpetuates itself even more into the American working class and middle class American lexicon. Now, if I ask the average person, well, when did the money game start for you? When did it start? And the average person will probably tell you about the time I started working, because that's when I started making money and earning money, so that's when it started. Well, ladies and gentlemen, for those that haven't heard me talk about this before, I'm going to give you a new date, a start date for each and every one of you. I don't even have to know you, and I know exactly when it started for you. The money game actually started at the moment of your conception. As soon as people go, what? Wait a minute, how did it start then? Well, here's what happens. When your parents knew you were on your way, that you were going to come into the world and bless them with the beauty and joy that you have. Well, what they did, what working class and middle class people do in large part, and they still to this day, we're so excited. We're going to get the nursery together. We're going to plan a baby shower. We're going to do all this planning, a party. We're even thinking about the baby's first 1-year-old party. We're doing all those things to kind of make sure that we're going to have everything we need. We're buying the strollers, the changing tables, the diapers. I mean, the whole bit. We go through all of that, and we get everything ready for your arrival. Okay? And that's what my mom did. That's what, my parents did. All this has happened for generations upon generations. Wealthy people do the exact same thing. They do the exact same thing. They want to do except with one big exception. They also know when their baby is coming, they start planning for them financially. They know what financial products and tools that they're going to use, and they'll be available for them at this age and at this age, and we're doing these things. They're having things set in place and in motion to let the family structures, the finances know that a baby is coming, and this is how we will continue to pass this money on, and this is how we're going to educate this new baby at certain ages to understand how the money in this family continues to flow and grow, and how to win the money game, playing it to win. So that's what they do. Have very different conversations at the dinner table than we do. A lot of times, working class and middle class people, we can plan a party. Boy, we can plan a vacation. But when it comes to planning our finances and doing things like that, we just don't do it. So what I love about everyone involved, everybody that's in MWR right now, you've already said to yourself, I need to do what the rich and the wealthy people do. And notice I said, I've been saying wealthy, but the rich people, in large part, when they become rich, a lot of them start to get a team in place. And that team starts to help them become richer and richer, and sometimes they even grow into where they start the wealth for their families. So what we've done, and what I'm going to show you here, I'm going to expose some things so you can see some things visually. I know right now you're just seeing the membership, and that membership is very important because this membership are the experts, or your team of experts that are surrounding you, that are there for you. So every time you make a financial decision, you don't have to wonder if it's good or not. It is a good financial decision. But what I want to do here tonight, because I'm not going to go into the services, because last week Gerald did a phenomenal job. I was able to listen to the replay. Phenomenal job, letting you know what the membership is and how it can create cash flow. And you already know the MWR is the ultimate cash flow company. And at MWR, we're going to do three things for you. Number one, we're going to maximize your cash flow out of your current income. Okay? That's what we're going to do, and that's what Gerald showed you last week. Number two, we're going to create business income from $5 and coming here real soon on February 4th going forward to $15,000 per day being paid daily, true residual income. Not to mention there's going to be some upfront monies and all those kinds of things as well. But then now the third thing we do is we compound your cash flow by providing you multiple streams of passive income so your money is working for you as opposed to you always having to work for the money. Those are the three fundamental things that MWR does to help ensure that you're playing the money game to win. Because the experts you're getting expert advice, not rule of thumb things. You're getting customized, confidential, expert advice on your specific situation so then you can move forward and move ahead. And Gerald did a nice job last week, Gerald Parker, of weaving his own personal story and what's happened for him and how it's happened for him, how he started off working. You know, he would say, he said it, he got paid on Friday, he was broke by Monday, and then how ultimately he was able to leave his $65,000 a year job and using the experts that helped him set the timetable, and when he left, he didn't have to look back, how then he was able to then do, because he was doing the right things with money, having the experts put him on the right track and on the right path, and he's doing the right things with money, put him in a position to do something he had always dreamed to do, which was to buy a second home in South Florida so he could spend the winters in Florida and the summers in his home state of North Carolina. And that's exactly what he's done and beyond. So that is powerful, what happens for you, and it happens in a short period of time. People don't really understand the power of the momentum of their money doing the right thing for them, how quickly that can change for you. So what I'm going to do, though, is I told you I'd expose the money game. So I already told you when it started, okay? And hopefully going forward, we're going to make sure you start, when you find out you're going to have a child, or some of you have a grandchild, that you'll start now looking at the financial principles, the financial things that need to be done, and the financial things that you're going to teach. For example, have a team. Have a team of experts. This is not do it yourself. Have a team of experts and start to teach that so we don't do that. Now, the money game, just so you know the rules, many of the rules are hidden in plain sight. And we say, hidden in plain sight. How do you hide them if they're in plain sight? Well, a lot of times they're hidden through what we call legalese. And legalese are written in legalese because the wealthy will always have an attorney. The wealthy will always have experts that know how to read those legalese and what they are really saying. And they know that the working class and middle class Americans, which we say, just tell it to us straight, we'll understand it if you just say what it is instead of all these goofy words or these highbrow words. Just say what it is. But no, that's not designed to say what it is. It was designed so you would have to have someone explain what it is, And if you didn't, they could hide the rules to the game in plain sight. You wouldn't even know it, and then you would go along with the conditioning of, for example, overpaying your taxes. Think about that. Do you understand the only thing in America you are willing to overpay and gladly do it without any sort of anger, angst, anything, you just let it happen, is overpaying the government with your taxes? Because if you and I right now were sitting at lunch and we asked for the bill because we're getting ready to leave, and they charged us for 3 lemonades, and it was just you and I there, and there's 2 of us, they charge us for 3, and that lemonade is only $1.49, we would literally say, can you take this $1.49 off the bill because you can see there's only 2 of us, you charge us for 3 lemonades. See, we won't even overpay for $1. You know, we will never overpay for anything. Anytime, and think about it, anytime you've ever been overcharged for anything, did you ask for your money back instantaneously and demanded it and expected it to come back right now? Absolutely. But why is it when we start working, and I remember we all went through this when we first started working. We had no idea what FICA and all these other things were that were coming out of our check. So I remember with my little job, my first job, and I was supposed to get like $100 for the week or 2 weeks or whatever it was, and because when I started, I've been around a long time. I started minimum wage was only $2.65 an hour, and so when I got my money, and then I was like, what happened to it? Who took that? They must have made a mistake because they took all this money out because I had no idea what that was. And then they told me, oh, yeah, that's like basically your taxes, right? So, and we got to pay for Social Security. You got to put money away so in the future you'll be able to be taken care of through Social Security. So all these different things, they're taken all out, right? So we go, okay, and then we just kind of know that that's what happens, and it just gets taken out. Well, when you get your job, they give you your W-4, and you're supposed to complete it, and you do it with no expert advice. You just kind of go, I've never looked at this form before, and you see these forms, and they put these forms, and the calculations, and I should have brought them up so you could have seen them, but you know what I'm talking about, where they have this math calculations in the back, and they have these things, and you can kind of go through them and write them and kind of figure them out yourself, and you're like, man, I was never good at math anyway, and so I have me and my spouse, or me and my kid, and so let me put that down, and they said, how do I do that? If you have, there's 3 of you, just put 3 right there. It's 5 of you, put 5. It's 2 of you, put 2. It's just you, put 1. Oh, okay, and then you do that. And those things are conditioned, are just structured to have you overpay. Although the money game says that the government will tell you you don't have to overpay. You can go do these calculations and figure it out and put the right number there. But guess what people do? They do what they've been taught, or their friend at work tells them, yeah, just do that. And then because we're all used to doing it ourselves, or asking somebody that we think is doing a little bit better than us, or it seems like they're kind of going on a little bit better, so we kind of respect them, and they ask, and they say, okay, let me do that, and then we go for it. And then we overpay. And then here's what's crazy. I'm going to show you, because you're seeing my screen, and if I switch a screen and you don't see it, just come and let me know. But this is the IRS. This is a regular, just so you know, a 1040 form, 2022 IRS form. Right here, look what it says. See that refund? Woo, we get excited. So watch this. Here's where our eyes go. We go refund. I'm glad I'm getting a refund. Let me put my routing number and bank number because I want that money coming back quick, right? That's what we do. Checking savings account. We just put it right there, and we're good to go. Sign here, or you have someone doing your taxes for you, and they go, okay, and then they go sign here, and they're just a tax preparer, and they go, okay, yeah, you just sign here. Here's where do you want your refund to go? Okay, let's put them in there, and boom, and you're excited. Let me tell you why you're excited about a refund. Why I know it. I don't even have to wonder. And I know I'm talking to MWR people at large. So you guys, well, we're not excited, but you used to be before MWR, and the people that you are going to expose to, they're excited about a refund. And it's so exciting that literally a whole boutique industry has been developed. There are companies that make a lot of money because people want their refunds faster than they even can get them in normal cases. So, and now you can get loans on your refund. They'll give it to you right away. It's all kinds of stuff. And people can't wait to buy the TV. And right now you can go into a Costco and you will see TVs lined up out of style. You will see all these things because they know they're starting to happen. They know come February, March, people are going to be getting their refunds, and they are going to start buying. So you know we got to get you for Valentine's Day. You already know all the national holidays that they have you participate in, big business. They're going to get you for, I just talked to someone last night. They said, I'm going to Cancun for March, spring break. My kids will be out. My mom will be able to watch them, and we're going to go and have some adult time in Cancun with some girlfriends. This is one of my wife's female cousins. They were talking about that. So these things happen, and they're already thinking about it, and they don't even understand how they're participating. But let's look at this a little bit closer, and this is what's interesting. They put it in bold, but it's not as big as this over here because this stands out. And with these other bold things, you're just not really reading it. But look what line 34 says. It says in line 33, if line 33 is more than line 24, subtract 24 from 33. First of all, that's all kind of combobulated to us, but here's what you need to read, this last part. This is the amount you overpaid. That's why you're getting a refund, which means, again, fund means your money. So all you're doing is getting your money back again. See, that is what you need to understand and be very crystal clear on, that this is a part of the money game and a part of playing it to where you're playing. Okay, I'm going to tell you this. The money game is being played 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If it's a leap year, it's 366 days a year. The money game never takes a day off. It never loses sleep. Nothing. It's constantly going. So there's one of two things. There is no gray area. Either you're playing the money game to win, or you're being played by the money game. You're on one side or the other. So right here, people that are excited about a refund and getting a big old refund, and some people say, well, that's my forced savings. Some people say, well, that's so I can have my fund so I can go travel or do shopping or buy that TV that they were waiting for me. I got to get it now. They have a sale, so I'm going to get my refund quickly, give up some more money. By the way, the refund, like I said, means again, fund means all you're doing is getting a portion of your money back again. And you gave it tax-free, interest-free loan to the government. Now, here's how the government repays you. They tax you on everything. Not only do you have income tax, not only do you have sales tax, you have estate tax, you have gift tax, you have property tax, you have gasoline tax. I mean, there's so many taxes on everything. And then if you ever needed money and you went to the bank, you have to borrow it. You went to this place or that place, any place, you have to borrow the money. They're going to charge you interest for borrowing the money, and a lot of times they charge you some other fees, a setup fee, it's all kind of fees on top of the interest that you have to pay back. So whatever you borrow, you're paying back a lot more than what you borrowed. But you, being played by the money game, are willing to give your money to the government, let them use it for their benefit. They get a return from it, and then they give it back to you, just a portion. They don't even give all of it they took, but they give a portion of that back to you, and you're supposed to be happy about it. And you are, because I got my refund. Oh, I got my refund check. Yeah. I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that is not the way you want to look at your money. That's not playing the money game to win. If you're overpaying right here, and it's telling you, I'm not. Notice I just went on the IRS, the government. You can see this is it was a government right there, IRS.gov. You could see this. I'm not on anything. I'm not making this up. This is hiding. This is what you call hiding in plain sight. The rules to the game. So let's talk about those rules. I just want you to see something, because I want you to. You guys think, maybe Andamo, come on with the money game, really? Well, here it is. This is the money game happening as we speak. You can see the numbers, how fast they're scrolling through. This is the money game. This is our U.S. debt clock. Now I want you to see, here's our national debt going by. Look how fast. You know how fast we're going to hit 1 million? We just sit here talking for a minute, it'll be $1 million. All this red means this is negative numbers. I'm not going to go into all the details. The green are the positive numbers. But when you look at the national debt, 31 million or 31 trillion. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. That's million. That's billion. Trillion. A number that only government uses. Even mathematicians don't use that number. This is crazy. Then you see the revenues. Well, what kind of revenues are we getting? From our tax revenues, we're getting 4.6 trillion. That's not $31 trillion. And look how fast that number is growing. And then you're going, wow, that's $13,000 per citizen in taxes being paid right out. As soon as a baby is born, 13 grand he has to go. Then you're going, well, we got income tax revenue. Well, that's another 2.6. Wow. So what about our gross domestic product? This is what we produce. You can see right there it says basic measures of the market value of all goods and services made within the United States borders. 25 trillion, still less than 31. Wow. Well, let's look at something here. They said Social Security. That's what we're going to be able to get. Our Social Security is going to get paid for. Well, let's look at Social Security down here at the bottom line. Let's bottom line some of this. Social Security, look at this, is in red to the tune of $22 trillion. Medicare, $34 trillion. The U.S. unfunded liabilities, over $180 trillion, if you just bottom line everything. $180 trillion. You talk about debt that's so huge, it's crazy. And watch this. If you say, well, Andamo, come on, really? This is debt. This isn't all that bad. Well, let me show you. Let's just look. Do you realize in 1960, our total national debt was we had 53% of our gross national product, okay, went towards our debt. And you can see it's telling you when I go here, it tells you what it is. So I moved, but up there, so it's letting you know. In 1960, in 1980, it was 34.49. In 2000, it went to 59, and some 22 years later, because this goes at the end of the year, it's now at 121.5% in the negative. When you look at what's going on and you don't think that these rules, that they want to keep you conditioned to be played by the money game, because watch this, some of you have savings accounts and just put your money in a savings account and that's what you've done. And all you're doing is just saving your money there, and they're giving you, they're not even giving you 1%, but let's just call it 1%. But then they take your money. Now watch this. You have to borrow money. You have to come fill out an application, do all of that. They have to approve you need your firstborn, blood type, the whole thing. Then they give you the loan, and then they charge you, 5, 10, percent interest, 15% interest. You get a credit card, 15, 20, almost 30%, 29% interest on those things. And then you know what they tell you? Hey, get it now. No payments, same as cash for the first 90 days, first 6 months, first year, same as cash. And they know that, I did it here, same as cash. I did it here over here, same as cash. I did it over there, same as cash. Now my apartment or my house looks good because I have all the things, all the strappings. It looks like I'm making all this money because what happened to me to begin with to use credit is I got taxed, and 1/3 of my income went to taxes. So they say I make $80,000 a year, but they're only paying me $52,000. So then I have to borrow the other $28,000 that I'm missing. I have to borrow that, and I borrow it in the ways of using credit. And credit cards are basically allowing you to buy things you can't afford right now, so you can have them now. So it can look like you're doing all that, doing super well, everything else, and especially now with social media, man, I got to look at my house, I got my picture, I got everything up, it looks so nice, my great TV, my this, my that, surround sound, the whole thing, look at my couches, they're all fly, everything looks great. And I got it all on credit, and now I have debt. And now this debt, because I was going to go same as cash, and I was going to do it. My intention was to get it all down where I had 12 months to pay this off and the same as cash. But like everything else, life happens. this emergency came up. I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know they were going to take that many. I didn't know my job was going to cut back here or not give any more overtime. So now, guess what they do? Part of the rules to the game. They say, oh, if you don't pay that same as cash in that 12th month, by the time we say it's over, then we act as though the interest has been accumulating since the moment you started. So now you owe this amount of money, and you go, whoa, that just doubled or tripled what I thought I owed. And now you've been paying on that couch or that TV you just had to have, and you thought, oh, $3,000 for this super nice TV, I'm doing it. Now that TV, you didn't pay it, you wound up paying it off 12 years later, 15 years later, and it cost you $10,000, not $3,000. And it's only worth $600. In fact, it's worth so little that if it breaks down, you don't even try to get a repair, you just go buy another one. Because that's the way it is. That's the whole consumer game. Hey, you got to have the latest iPhone. They just came out. Something new. They added one new gadget, got to get it. New color, have to have it. And they get you to keep every 6 months, every year buying a new thing again. Because they got you. They don't even look at you. The money game doesn't even look at you as a citizen. You are a consumer. Ladies and gentlemen, this has to stop. So let's talk about some things. Because I wanted to show you real numbers. Let's define some things for you. What if by the time you're all said and done, you said, I need to have, and I'm not going to be extraordinary numbers because I don't want anybody to be pained, but I'm just going to say, what if you said, when I'm retired, I want to have $6,000 in today's dollars come into my account every single month, regardless if I get out of bed or not in the morning. I want my retirement income to do this for me, produce this for me. So I'm just going to use the number 6,000. So I'm not going crazy. I didn't do 10. I didn't do 20 or 30 or dream stuff. I'm trying to be realistic. And let's say at about, I'm going to use, say, 35. Because if I go 40, I could do 40. I'll just keep it at 40. Let's say, no, I'm going to keep it at 35. I'm going to do what I said. You have 30 years to build this money up. Okay, to get you to $6,000 a month in today's dollars. You're saying you're going to need this to your 85 because, you might not go, but I know some of you are going 85. No, I'm going to live, and so many of my family members are living past 85. So let's say we make this to 90. Or you know what, let's say we make it to 95. So this has got to last you, this money has to last you till you're 95 years old. Okay? Now we got to account for inflation. Let's not get crazy. Let's just call inflation 2%. So that's kind of, sometimes it'll be high, sometimes it'll be very low. Over 30, all these years we're talking about, from 35 to 90, over 60 years, it was about, especially the 30 years I'm going to be retired, where I'm just depending on this income, it's going to average about 2%. And let's just say that because of MWR, and I've learned about some things, I'm not making 1% in my bank. I'm not getting 1.5% in my money market account. I'm actually getting, on average, every year about 5% return. Because I had what MWR was going to bring out newly in February. I had a diversified cash flow account, and they was paying me 5% a year, and that's where I am. That's where I have the bulk of my money, so it could do that. I have uninterrupted compound interest. So how much will I need? Now, here's the question: how much will I need to accumulate by the time I start living on my retirement? So in other words, in 30 years, how much money will I have had to accumulate that's going to help me live for another 30 years on this money? Let's just calculate. $2.6 million in 30 years. Okay, so let's put that into perspective, and you can see why. Because of inflation, you're going to need more money every year. It starts off at $10,000. By the time you get 30 years down the road, that $10,000 is like $19,000. And then with the taxes coming out, this is what you're going to need. So here's what happens. But I just want to put this in perspective for you. So if you needed $2.6 million, and I'm not going to be able to do this on the screen, but you'll get this number. You guys can write this down. If you needed this, then means you need, over 30 years, you need to put away, not earn. This is the money you're putting away, putting aside. You need to put aside almost $87,000 per year in this example. So you're 35 years old, you're going to put to have $6,000 come in today's dollars, about 30 years from now, because I don't want to, and I want that money to help me survive for the next 30 years. Because if I say, oh, you can depend on Social Security, let me take you back. Let's look at where we are. Well, how much in debt are we at Social Security? So if you're 35 now, Social Security is not going to be there for you. It's just not. You talk about a Ponzi scheme. This is the biggest Ponzi scheme that the government has going. Okay, so it's just not going to be there for you. So I'm keeping this real because sometimes we have to know where we stand and actually be real with ourselves to know how we can get from where we are. But this is being played by the money game. When you're played by it, this is how it happens. So I'm going to need to do this and put away $80,000 a year. Do you know what the average income in the average American income a year is in the country? We don't have to wonder. Watch this. They tell us right here. What is the average median income in the entire United States right now? $35,000 a year for an individual. That's the average. So let me double that. Let's say we're talking about household. Now let's say you're doing better than that. I'm gonna make it even better. Let's say you're making $75,000 a year. Okay? $75,000 a year. How can you save $80,000? Let's say you're making, let me go back here. Let's say you're making $87,000, I should say. Let's say you're making $100,000 a year. How do you put away $87,000 a year for the next 30 years? It seems pretty tough, doesn't it? Well, let's look at something here. Let's talk about, because we defined our goal. Well, Andamo, that's okay. I got the pain. I get it. Can we move on? Yes, let's move on. Okay? Let's just say you went out and you wonder why you need an MWR business. And remember, the ultimate cash flow company is going to start helping you create cash flow. But let's talk about that business cash flow. And we can do that because we can go and look at our comp plan. All right? So I just wanted to show you something here. And let's just say all I'm doing, and I'm not going to show any big numbers and that you're killing it, you're making all these big numbers. I'm going to show you a very simple thing. You're at 12, you have a job, but you're kind of living paycheck to paycheck, so you're just kind of doing this. You went out and told 3 people who told, watch this, 3 people, 1 outside customer, who told 3 people, they all have 1 outside customer, who told 3 people, and they all have 1 outside customer. That's how you have 36 team members in your organization. So I don't care if you did this in 1 month or if this took you, watch this, it could take you 3 years to do this. You did this year number 1. You just talked to 3. You said, nobody else can join me because I'm on a plan. I just need 3 for the year. Then I need 12 people to come in the next year. That means 1 person a month for the whole year in year number 2. And then I need another 2 people a month because now I have 12, and I need 24 more people. I need 2 people a month to come in for this next year. That's it. I'm making $1,200 a month. Let's say, because I need part of it, okay, and I need to use some things. Let's say I take that because I have a job, and so I'm doing MWR part-time. I'm showing you how to change your life in a part-time basis where you're doing out of the spare room of your house. $1,200, okay? Let's go back to where we were. At $1,200, I'm not putting all of that here, but what if I put, let's call it $800. I'm going to put $800 a month into my private reserve account. Okay? You may decide to put into your cash flow, your diversified cash flow account, whatever. This is for your retirement. So the PRA is really set up for your retirement. Now let's say, remember we said it was going to be 35 years, because from 35, and then we're going to talk about, we're going to get, the PRA average is about an 8.5% return over time. Some people will tell you in the last couple of years they've been getting 12 to 14% returns on their PRA, but over time, because they're going to have some low years, it average, some years were 0 because 0 becomes your hero because the stock market actually goes down. Then like this year, it drops, so you're good. You didn't lose any money. So here's what happens. But, you know, 1/3 of your money has gone away to taxes, so we have to account for that. Here's what's going to happen. You have $1 million there. That's if before taxes. That's just if you put it in the bank, you just let them tax you like crazy. If you put it in your 401k, it'll go to $1.4 million. But if you put it into your PRA, that's $2 million. But we need it to be 2.6. So then I go, 800 isn't quite enough. What if I use all 1,200? Because I know what I got to have this $6,000 a month. So I'm just going to see something here. I'm going to calculate at all 12,000. Now let me click here. Oh, that's over 3.1 million. So did I do it? Look at this. I'm more than covered. I don't even need all 1,200. I can go back here and say, well, I'm able to get away with just using 1,050. Maybe I can get away with it there. I just click on the number, see if we did it. Yep, there we go. So if I remember what I needed was 2.6, I got them 2.7, and now look, you've now seen how you can make this happen with your MWR. Now look, watch this. Watch the cash flow that just happened for you. You took your business, and I'm just going to show you again. I didn't have you go set the world record in MWR. You just became a 3-star executive director for the rest of your LIFE. I didn't even say your business kept growing. I made it seem like you went in a hut and your whole organization went in a hut, and all you guys did was use the services for yourself because you promised the 36. Nope, nobody else can know about this. It's just for us. And you guys are in a hut, nobody can know, and the $1,200 you're making from that, you're just taking that, and even though you have all these discounts, all these things that are giving you even more cash flow, I'm not even talking about the cash flow you generated, because you're a W-2 employee, you're going to pick up somewhere between $200 and $600 a month in residual income. In cash flow, because the overpayment, you're going to get that back in your check if you're doing the bill negotiation. And you heard all this last week from Gerald. You're going to pick up about another $120 a month there on average, and then you're going to the debt elimination. Oh my goodness, that's going to allow you to be out of debt much faster, where you can use more money to get things done and paid off, and so you're going to be debt free. I'm not even counting that, nor am I counting that the average credit score increases 50 to 125 points, which gives the average person another $100 of the cash flow coming back into their household because they were able to lower their insurance premiums, their car payments, or their refinance their house, things like that, lowered their debt, paid off some, got some lower interest rates on some credit cards, so and balance transferred, so they were paying lower interest. I'm not counting any of that. I'm saying, so that's why I know, for example, going back here, this is where the 1,050 will come from. See, all those areas, you're making $1,200 with the business, but you're probably picking up another almost $1,000 a month just from the cash flow coming back to you. So it's more like $2,200 a month is what you're really seeing from MWR in the cash flow. But all you're doing is you're taking 1,050 of it, half of it, and you're putting it away into like a private reserve account, or soon you'll see the DCA, the diversified cash flow account, and now you're seeing your money grow. And keep in mind, you did not set any speed records with MWR. This is the greatest business I've ever been a part of. It's the most phenomenal business I've ever witnessed, because I can talk to someone. They don't have to go. Most companies, here's what they do to you. They go, you better win up here. You better win at this level, because you're going to need to make a lot of money so you can have your dream lifestyle and some kind of. And they go, well, when I make all this money, what do I do with it? And they never really answer that question. They go, well, I made all this money. Was there anybody telling me that I needed to pay taxes? Oh, no, we don't know about that. We just wanted you to sell these lotions, potions, and pantyhose and get rich. But do you know, you heard our number one income earner, Mr. Brian Bean, said he made $1 million by the time he was 22, and then he lost it. Him and I have something in common. We had to deal with the IRS in a serious way, not for a little bit of money, for some big money, because the first time I made big money, which was in a traditional business, I wound up not understanding all the nuances that I had to understand, and I was young, and I literally lost everything, including a big IRS bill. In fact, I learned IRS carry guns, because they came to my store and shut me down. They told me a week later. I said, somehow in my 25-year-old mind, I was like, I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully something will happen. They're like, I'm going to pray hard, and hopefully something will happen. Well, guess what happened? They showed up a week later like they said they would, asked for the money. I didn't have it. They moved me out physically. When I walked, I didn't have to physically move me, but they would have. They physically moved everybody out of the store, and they put the yellow tape, looked like someone got killed there, and I did. I just got killed financially. Emotionally, mentally, I'm destroyed. So that yellow tape was appropriate. The only thing they didn't do was put the chalk marks. But I just wow, and everything was now seized, and it was a painful time, and it was one of the lowest financial times of my lifetime. And it took me 10 years because I didn't have an MWR and experts and things like that to overcome that mistake. Or not a mistake, it was really a learning process. I realized I went through that now because God needed me to go through that so I could literally talk to you, not from a place of theory, from reality. That's what I love about Brian. He's not talking to you from theory. He's talking to you from a cold reality. And neither both of us pay taxes quarterly. We don't even mess around. When it's IRS, because God says, what is man? Give it to them. Give it to the tax collector. Let them have. You don't try to. Here it is. But I'm here to tell you, even at MWR, the experts are going to do some things where many of you are going to understand. And I'm talking about as early as February 4th. Those that are in the room will know how we're going to have a set of business structures that are going to help people literally, legally, ethically, and morally have zero personal tax liability. Imagine that. If I ask the average person, what's your biggest expense in your household? They'll tell me their rent or their mortgage, right? And they can tell me exactly what those amounts are. Few people, if they're a little younger, they maybe live with someone, they may say a car, but they can tell me exactly what that payment is. But here's what they cannot tell me, because their largest bill is always the taxes. That's your largest bill. That's your largest household bill. But the challenge is you don't know what that bill is. And you pay it every single year, have no idea what it is, and it's your largest bill. Well, I'm here to tell you, at MWR stands for Make Wealth Real. And one of the fastest ways to make wealth real is if we can not only reduce your taxes, lower my taxes as we have now. Let's go back. I got to show you all this. This is because this is all real. This is as real as anything can be. And you wonder why Brian House, myself, why we get so excited about what's happening is because we know this says reduce my taxes. What if you were able to eliminate them? Oh, yeah, I'll let you sit on that for a moment, because that is the ultimate game changer, is the ultimate goal. And guess what's going to happen? You at MWR will have the experts in place to help you do just that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to show you tonight that there's a money game out there. I didn't expose all the money game. There's all kinds of things I could have shown you, but I didn't want you to have your eyes roll in the back of your head in tears. But I wanted you to also understand why this remarkable membership, which is about to be enhanced with some even more tabs, why this remarkable membership is here to literally change your life and to have you win in this environment instead of being played by this environment. And the way you're played by this environment and why these kind of things can happen, all this red you see, U.S. total debt, $93 trillion. Why you see this? Look at this credit card debt, $1.2 trillion. Student loans, the average student per student in the United States, $39,000 for each student, $1.7 trillion. The reason why all this debt is here and how countries and companies and banks make money on debt, but we don't. We can't, right? That's what they tell us. The reason why you have all this red here is because so many people are played by the money game. In fact, most people are. But I'm here to tell you, you will be able to operate like the wealthy elite in this country if you just follow the principles of MWR, and we're going to have something that's going to put your investments on steroids. So I'm telling you, this membership is the most valuable membership you could ever have because it pays you to have it. It's the only thing I know that you can have a bill and it pays for the cost of your bill. So with that being said, I'm going to turn this back over to Mr. Daryl Banks. Thank you, Daryl. I hope I was able to impart some things that really help people tonight, at least understand what's going on. Let me take you off the pain and let me show you what's possible. And this, I didn't even try to make it some big number, because some people say, I need that number to happen much faster. We could do that. I'm going to leave you with this so you can just see something here. If somebody said, I want to have $1 million into my rocking chair in literally 5 years. I'm going to show you this. 5 years. $1.1 million in 5 years, putting $15,000 per month away into like a private reserve account. Watch this. This is what you're going to not like but love. Let me show you this final thing and I'm done. Because I told Daryl to come up and he's like, wait, you're still talking. Wait, let me show you this final thing. 15,000. Oh, I have to show you down here. Comp plan. Well, man, if you were making $1,000 a day, that's only half of the 1,000. Well, you say I need more than that. Okay, if you're making 45,000 a day, 1,500 a day, 45,000 a month. Well, you're only taking 1/3 of that, and you're putting it away every month. So you say, well, I need 1,000 people, so I need 3,000 people. Okay, what if it took you 10 years to do that? So you mean you need 10 years? I need 300 people per year. So that's really, you divide that by 12, and you go, okay, that's like 30 people between me and my whole organization coming in a month. See, these things are possible. A lot of times we overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but we greatly underestimate what we can do in 10. MWR is going to be here, ladies and gentlemen. This is a legacy company. You are literally catching lightning in a bottle. And it can happen for you fast or slow, just depends on what you want and how bad you want it. So, Daryl, back to you. Let's go ahead and wrap that up. I have to get on another Zoom, like right now, so I'll have to go.
Hey, Mr. Tolson, no problem at all. So we want to thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and run a quick video. I'm going to share my screen. We'll see you guys next Thursday. Thank you so much.
Okay, we can't hear it, Daryl.
Oh, can't hear it? I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, we don't hear it. I don't hear it at all, but they can see it. So you go to Daryl. You go on and do that. I'm going to jump off because I got to get on this other Zoom.
Okay.
And then you go on and end the call. Thank you so much. Appreciate you big time.